This is the point in time of year where a lot of people have been relocating, going on vacations, figuring out their summer plans, and honestly, real estate is in the middle of all of that action. So be sure not to get caught up in the false headlines, narratives. If you didn't know, those are all fear-based tactics to get you to steer away from your dreams. So here in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys exactly what's going on with Raleigh's real estate market so that you know exactly where to park your money if that's something that you are looking to do. Now, if you're new to me in this YouTube channel, we talk about everything you need to know about Raleigh, North Carolina. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out. But also, I am a licensed realtor here and would love nothing more but the opportunity and, of course, the ability to assist you with your relocation needs. But not only will this video help you understand what's going on with the real estate market here, let's just say you're in the market to actively buy or sell, you'll know exactly what to do by the end of this video. And if it still doesn't make any sense to you, you still need additional help, assistance, whatever the case may be sure to reach out. But let's go ahead and get right into the meat of everything and understand what's really happening in this market. And if I were to summarize everything, let's first start off with price, everyone's major concern. And I will say, price in itself has still been trending upwards. So if you are looking, just keep that in mind. I will say the prices have not been going crazy to the point where it's not sustainable. If anything, you're seeing at least a 1 or 2% increase month over month aspect. So if you're looking at whatever dollar amount you're at now, just put a 1 or 2% increase and expect that for maybe the time that you're ready. Despite us being in a high interest rate environment, that is what's really happening. And in fact, North Carolina, Raleigh specifically, has an extremely unique market because people are still overbidding. And it's not overbidding to the point where it's like, why are you doing that? But people are still getting in those little bidding wars. It's still seeing a little bit of competing offers. So a lot more people, interested in one property specifically, and because there's just not that much inventory, honestly. They're still in that seller's market. So honestly, if you're a seller watching this right now, living in Raleigh or somewhere in North Carolina, and you just want to know a little bit more about what your market specifically looks at, just a high chance that you are in a seller market, which means you still have the advantage. And for that reason, this is exactly why I think builders have maintained and kept their incentive list to give individuals that ability to go ahead and seek what's going on over there. And for instance, if you guys don't know, a lot of builders have been giving out a lot of incentives in terms of helping people with closing costs, even buying down their interest rates. So those are two of the big things I've been seeing all across the board with some builders and stuff. And if you are interested in that, or at least want to be a part of that list where I do share it with individuals, just reach out to me. You see that number that's popping up, you see that email that's popping up as well. Just reach out to me and let me know, hey, I want to be a part of that builders list so I can make sure that you get the information so you know exactly what's happening here in Raleigh, North Carolina. But let's just say you guys think I'm full of crap and you don't believe me. That is perfectly fine. Let's go right over and check out what's going on with the data in itself. So first off, let's start with looking at what's going on holistically in Wake County. I can dumb it down to Raleigh, and I'll probably do that for you guys. But you guys can see here, this is for May 2024. We'll go ahead and look more specifically as we are recording this. And honestly, I only have information from previous weeks, so it's not going to be till, dead spot on to when you're watching this. So definitely keep that in mind and always look at the date because that is going to be respective to when you're watching this. But if you guys can see, you see the median price point in Raleigh, and this is Wake County specifically, right? You see there's not many days on market, which means individuals are, getting their home listed and getting it off the market because, again, there's a lot of people looking. And, of course, with not that much inventory, we're still in that seller's market. So, homes that are getting listed are getting offers pretty quickly, right? And you guys can even use this as a metric. So depending on what price point you're looking at, you can use this as a metric as a whole. As 245, at least you can round that up to 2, or you can do specifically 244, and you can use that as a metric. So if you're looking for a 2,000 square foot home, just do 2,000 times that 244, and that will give you ideally what the price points are in this area. And we can see new listings are coming up. New listings are, at least for May, right, were up. So that's good for the market itself for buyers and, well, not so much of sellers. But if I were to go specifically to Raleigh, just so you guys can see, right, really just doing this for you guys can see how so much of that changes, right in front of you. You guys can see the median sold per square footage went up tremendously. It was $244 for Wake County specifically. and in Raleigh is 252. You can see homes are being on the market a little bit longer, but we're talking about 2 extra days in comparison to the 7 for Wake County. And look at this active inventory. It's not even 1,000. Good almighty. Some people are happy, some people are sad, but this is just the reality that we have to live in right now. So we'll just move on with that. But if we were to specifically look a little bit more, I want to make sure I am having Wake County. And so we can do Wake County again, and I'm only going to specify single family homes to begin with. And here are the numbers. As I mentioned, prices have been on the uptrend. I mean, in this past week or so, it doesn't really look like it's doing too much of that, right? It's looking like it's keeping itself a little bit steady. But let's go ahead and take a look to see what's been going on in Raleigh specifically. And we can see, all right, so still kind of keeping it a little bit steady around that 550, I guess is like a sweet spot, I would say. Whether you catch something below 550, then you might have a steal that you might want to act on. Or if you have something above it, you may want to reconsider or really look at it, the numbers, and make it all make sense to you. But of course, if you're purchasing your own home, and I think all that I just said doesn't really matter. But if I were to add townhomes and condos specifically to this, again, it changes it. And the reason why, you're probably wondering, well, why are the numbers changing so dramatically when you start to include certain things like townhomes and condos? Because those are priced differently. So that's definitely something to look at and keep in mind. But as I've been doing, showing you what's going on in Raleigh, you can see how that kind of changes for in itself. So to sum up all really that we just kind of looked at, right, you can see that single family homes are a little bit more pricier than a lot of what's going on in this area entirely. So let's go ahead and go back to something I want to really show you guys, just so you guys can really see this, because if you guys see it, you guys know that I'm not all BS no more, right? So let's just say you don't want to have a home in that 500 price range, right? You prefer 400 and everything. So townhomes, maybe even condos, may be a best fit for you. If you were to look for one in the 400,000 range with, let's put this at 2,000 because I know we talked about that. You can ideally look at 16% of essentially what's listed on the market to be in that range that you're looking for. So, and another one that you can look at, I know that we talked about the square footage, the price per square footage. You can see that 20% is only listed below 200. So all of that to, again, you see that 242 pop up again. But let's just go ahead. Since we've been doing it, let's keep it on par with what we've been doing. Once we look at Wake County, let's take a look to see what Raleigh's been doing, so you guys can see in retrospect. So again, using that 400,000 with the 2,000 square foot home, you're still 19. So 19% of the listings are below that price point, all right? And you're still within that 250. So I thought this was pretty cool to share with you guys, because this is going to share with you guys exactly what is happening. So now that you were able to hear my summary, you actually see the data for itself. I'm going to share with you guys a story, because I think a lot of individuals forget where we're at right now. This is just the type of market that we're in, where I had someone reach out to me and was like, hey, I am trying to figure out if I should sell my place or not, because I'm getting a ton of phone calls. And I'm sure this person is not the only one getting a ton of phone calls, emails, even postcards getting sent to my house saying, hey, should I, are you looking to sell kind of situation? And honestly, I told this individual, you got to really analyze the situation. I know that person individually was not the only one getting those, and we walked through the scenario to ideally see if it was best for them to do it or not. But this is in North Carolina specifically. I can only really speak more in detail about Raleigh. Has been experiencing this market where a lot of people are looking to purchase and acquire a lot of assets over time, just because of what may actually come in the North Carolina's future, honestly. But that experience, that story in itself, is a true testament of what's going on in this market. It's really highly favorable to a lot of individuals. However, before we go check out to see how does Raleigh, North Carolina compare to other states, let's go ahead and check out how does the neighboring towns and city compare to Raleigh, North Carolina, to see maybe Raleigh isn't the best fit for you, but maybe there's somewhere close nearby that you could still be in proximity to it to enjoy and reap the benefits of. Let's go ahead and check it out. So here's another source that I have and I'm giving you access to just because you guys are tuning in to me on a regular basis and you guys do reach out to me. And if, of course, you want to know, you need help with anything, assistance, questions, just you see that number that is popping up right there. Just make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing. I got your back in this market. But here we're going to go ahead and take a look to see first and foremost what's been going on with the median sales prices. So you guys can see comparing many different areas to Raleigh specifically, as I mentioned, that we will go ahead and do and take a look at that data. So you guys can see how it all compares. And this is like real life up to date data. So you're getting the real time of what's happening here. And you can see that, yeah, Cary Apex is top of the chain there. So, you know, they're running the show for the most part, and Wake Forest is there. Let's see another area. Let's throw in Clayton, just so you guys can see. Again, Clayton is an area that's below. So if you're looking for more of a, you know, maybe Raleigh isn't the price point that you're looking at. And sure enough, as heck, Cary and Apex is definitely not. Then maybe you could take a look at Clayton, and that may be a little bit more fulfilling to you. Same goes with Garner, right? So Garner is a little bit below. What's another one that I can share with you guys? Let's see, Angier. Angier is one that's been up and coming in my book. So yeah, I'm expecting Angier to be a little bit lower. And it's the lowest, I think that, and it is, but I will say Angier is a little bit further out than Raleigh. Further out than all of these places that we kind of just touch upon really quickly. So that's something to really keep in mind. If you need to be really close, then maybe Angier is not your best fit. But if you do need a place where, you know, you can get the best bang for your buck, or even, you know, your budget isn't where Raleigh is, then maybe that's something you could take a look at. But that's the price point aspect of things. If I go to days on market, everything is going to be pretty low here. So I mean, I could show you guys can take a look at it. Everything is going to be low. I don't expect any of these numbers to be high at all. But let's go ahead and look at price per square footage. That way you can have an idea. If you are looking in a specific square footage range, then you can just literally take these numbers and just multiply by the square footage, and you will have a good idea of what you may or should expect to budget for in that market. So Cary holds the crown per usual. I mean, that comes at no surprise. I want to see where's Garner. And this is stuff that I could provide to you guys as well. So if at any point in time you want some of this information, or, you know, you're just trying to identify if, you know, Raleigh or the surrounding areas is a good fit, you just need help with understanding a little bit more, just reach out and, you know, we can walk through everything. But here is Garner is, you know, still above some. It goes right along the lines of what's been happening in terms of the prices. I just want to check one more just to make sure. So yeah. Makes perfect sense, in my opinion, at least from what's happening on the ground and what we're all experiencing. You know, Garner and Wake Forest are neck and neck, which is insane to me. But it is what it is, and this is what's happening in real estate, and especially Raleigh's real estate. However, let's go ahead and move on and really talk about how does North Carolina, specifically Raleigh, how does Raleigh compare to other states? Maybe it's neighboring or whatever the case may be. One thing I will say, I saw a map and it's a migration map, and it kind of sums up where a lot of people are relocating from. So I'm going to use this as a basis as far as what markets should we really be looking at, because maybe you're watching from one of those markets, but let's go ahead and go take a look. So here's that map I was talking about that really shares with you guys. I don't know if you guys even care, but honestly, where some people are moving from. So maybe if you're concerned with where are people moving from so that you can be relatable, here's a good map that shares with you guys. It actually breaks it down in detail as well below. And I'll be using this list here. I'm going to do only, let's just say, the top 8. Maybe I'll do all 10. Who knows? But I'm going to go over these markets so we can compare how does Raleigh stand with these markets. So we have New York, and then we have as well Washington, D.C. All right, so I'm just going to go through and add these to the list. I think Fayetteville was next. And then we have San Fran, Los Angeles, Boston. And while those are starting to load up, let's go ahead and take a look at Raleigh. And where does Raleigh really stand? And so I want to do this so you guys can really see it for yourself. Hey, how much months of inventory is in the market? How much are people actually, trying or at least selling their home for? So here you can see just about 100%. So whatever the seller wants, seller's getting. How many days is on the market, and what's the ideal home value or home price that is in this area, right? So if we go look at that, and we can go to look at the New York. Oh, they're not going to give it to me. That's the worst. And New York is such a large place. That's probably why it's not helping. Because I'm familiar with, I don't know what part of New York, but let's just let's do Queens, New York. Hopefully they don't give me no issue. Okay, you want to give me one of the boroughs at least? Then I don't want to do Manhattan because we know Manhattan is way more expensive than everything in the world. I don't know what's a good zip code to use. Man, that was a big fail. I refuse to let this be this way. What's a good place in New York that I could think of to use? Long Island, that's too far out. If we go to Manhattan, Queens, Bronx. I mean, we can try the Bronx, but again, that's still a borough, and I'm surprised it popped up. That's insane. So I guess we'll just use this for the time being. I mean, I don't want to be able to use this just because I know that there's many different boroughs, and all these boroughs, they act entirely different. Like, for instance, I could go look at Brooklyn. So you guys can see the numbers. I'll pull up Brooklyn to see what's going on in Brooklyn. And look at this. It's entirely different. So I really wish they summed it up and kind of gave me an overall. But you guys can see it's more of a balanced market. It's not as much of a sales market that Raleigh is experiencing. But let's go ahead and check out what's going on in Washington, D.C. And this is good for if you're actually not considering some of these other areas. This is really good for you to see how does Raleigh compare to what it is that you may be looking at relocating to. Then we have Fayetteville, North Carolina on the map. So not too far, about an hour, 15 hours or so from Raleigh, North Carolina. And look, it's insane to see these. So I know we got San Fran, Los Angeles. Let's pull up Los Angeles. And then Boston. So San Fran, how does that compare? I mean, price point, there's no reason to really look at that. I think the best thing to really do pay attention to is, median days on market. What's the list of sold? So how much are you going to have to offer in order to really get that home? As you can see, in San Francisco, they're getting 8% over, and their months of inventory is still low, just like pretty much everywhere else. So here's another one. This is Los Angeles, California, and this is all, of course, of May of 2024. This is as of June, and all of this data is considering single-family townhome and condos. And last but not least, at least for now, is Boston. So these are all big metro areas that obviously doesn't really compare really well to Raleigh because the population size and just what's going on there it's a lot more. But I just, again, wanted to be able to give you guys the numbers so you guys could really see how does it compare. And if you guys are making a decision between Raleigh and somewhere else, how is it that you can best make your decision? And maybe this is a helpful way, or maybe I'm just confusing you guys even more. And if I am confusing you, then this is the best time for you to utilize that number that you do see popping up on that screen. And let's talk about it. Let's talk it through to see what is it that you're getting confused at, and let's navigate you to the best place that you possibly need to be. So before we go wrap that up, okay, see, I'm not going to do this because I don't even know Seattle like that. Sorry, guys. So we're going to skip that one. We're going to go right over to Atlanta, and you guys can see how it compares. Very similar to Raleigh. If anything, I would say just a lot more inventory that they have, and they're a little bit less than Raleigh. Yeah. They just have a little bit more inventory, which I'm sure is beating down that price point. We have Miami. And so you guys gonna see. I don't know. I don't remember what the New Yorks were, or even I think the New Yorks were the only real balanced market. But really, 6 months of inventory is a balanced market, balanced quote unquote, right? So that is ideally what you're gonna really see here. In Miami is semi-balanced or getting there, and then we have Chicago. So it looks like everywhere in the entire world is not. It's not balanced. It seems like at least some of those markets are in balance, but most of them are in sales markets for the most part. So that's how really Raleigh, North Carolina compares to a lot of these areas that many individuals are moving from. You guys can take a look at this map once more, but this is the beauty of it, right? When you guys tune into these things, you get this sort of information to be able to apply to your day-to-day, to know what is best for you, yourself, your family, whoever else is tagging along. Now that you were able to see how does Raleigh compare to the entire world, I'm sure if Raleigh is not the best fit for you at the current moment, I do have a playlist that you can go ahead and check out some of the towns, cities, suburbs that surround Raleigh, North Carolina. I'll make sure to tag it above so you don't miss out and you guys know exactly where to go check that out. But I'm curious to know, did this at all surprise you? Let's hear it in the comments below. Just give me a yes or no, just so I know where you guys kind of stand, and I could maybe provide you better content so you guys won't be surprised like this and know how to best prepare you guys. But just as much as I enjoy making these videos for you guys, my name is Roney Polynice, and I am a licensed realtor here in North Carolina. And we'll love nothing more but the opportunity and the ability to assist you with your relocation needs. So see that number that is popping up right there? Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing: I got your back in this market.